Alright, welcome back to tonight's video. Wow, it's a really slow intro, jeez. You know, in life, we need a real villain. And when I say a real villain, I mean not just like any villain, like a real villain. Some days it feels like, things suck, but they could suck worse, you know? And, I mean, we kind of forget that, but we have a lot to be thankful for. And, do I remember even how to play this game? What, it's left click, right click, all that jazz. This is gonna be one of those rounds where I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're gonna make the most of it tonight. Here we go. I'm not getting the key because it sucks, and just running through the game. I'll say that, and it of course, seems to be dead end immediately. Fantastic. Yeah, we have a lot to be thankful for, and sometimes we forget it. Tonight's game was Dead Cells. Why? Because if you know the lore of this game, it sucks like a lot. There's this king, he's like evil or something, and 20 disease, whatever, everyone looks over themselves rather than everything else, and, well, that's life, I guess. I don't know, I'm probably, like, oversimplifying the absolute mess out of this. If you know the game, you know the game. Actually, check out the lore of this game, it's pretty sick. Because I haven't played this in forever. Like, what is this? I have genuinely no idea. This game does way too many, crossovers, too. Like, I love it, but it's just so hard to keep up. Accomplish item collectors. That's cool, I guess. We'll try this out, I suppose. Well, it is sellable because they're both one. And I guess I can't go down there quite yet. But I shall be down there soon. Oh, so is this like you just shoot him a few times and then that's how it works? I like my free parry thing though, that's where it's at. I don't know, I can get used to this kinda. Brutality, because it's funny and easy. Although I had an ice bow build from forever ago that I really liked. Sometimes life gets too easy, right? You're like, oh, play on easy mode, maybe we need boss L3 IRL or something. I say that and then I'm gonna die. But, life could be harder, and does that mean it needs to be? Maybe not, but I think we often forget how much just we have. And that's all to say, well, nothing changes because no one needs it to. That's how we get over here. There we go, we're fully figuring life out. I've got that fire proc, so the oil's already kind of working. I don't want the freeze, I want this. I don't know why I hadn't been using the Alice, I realized I have to summon, so he just kind of vibes there. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? At one point they also made the difficulty of curving in this game even easier too, which is really scary for me, because I feel like I'm failing this so hard. I'm actually gonna go back as well and get the weapons I was using earlier, just because I'm not comfortable with this weapon. And maybe I ought to be, if that's the story I'm telling, is, making life harder. Something like that. I just like this shield a lot, and oil blade's kind of funny. Plus I get the fire procs and all that. Yeah, sometimes, too, I think it's interesting. Most of us are capable of doing things, right? We're not lazy, we're just comfortable, and comfort is often kind of a cage. We don't really take risks unless we have some reason to. And that's why it's like, well, if we had someone making us do that, then maybe life would be a little more special than it feels some days anyways. Is that a bad thing? I don't know, I guess it's for discussion, interpretation, and this is, of course, from the mouth of a 20-year-old who has no idea what he's doing, or 21-year-old. That's, you guys still have to think about that, I guess. Villains force us to grow, and complacency convinces us there's no need, you know? When life gets really tough, you're just like, man, either I gotta fix this, I gotta change this, I gotta be better, I gotta do whatever. Also, I realized I was off by 3 seconds there for the funny extra thing. Oh, there's the secret wall. I'm not gonna go killing everything. I used to play that game for that, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be more of a not a full clearer and just kind of run through the game. I don't know if everyone full clears or whatever. I know you're supposed to get all the scrolls though, at the very least, so... Welcome back to IGN, plays games or something. Also, I realized I didn't really heal after that. Oh, and that's... Speaking of trying to heal... Well, that's a great way to intro this video. Oh, that's so peak. But without pressure, we don't rise. We rot. We kind of sit there, and life moves on. But if you had someone there testing you every single day, then I guess you'd know what that's like. I guess for religious people, it's Satan, the devil, sin, this, that. But, and you could make an argument. Maybe I'd do Cursed Sword and have a really funny, really short run. I like Lightning Whip too. Gosh, this is hard. By hard, I mean hard decisions. Decisions. I'm gonna do this. How do I switch these? Last Ring Aura, and then I hear what the other one even does. This game's way too many items in it. It's like Isaac all over again, but Isaac, but you're an assassin. But I'd name this spells like an actual YouTuber, not just a dumb guy talking. I'd parry that, but then I messed that up. The right side works really well on like the small enemies. That's got that going for me. Oh, that's parry. Nice. I remember starting this game. I love this game. I don't know why I didn't finish it or keep up with it. I guess maybe it was too hard. I think this is Boss Cell 3. Oh yeah, it says there in the bottom right over the map. I wonder if anyone else does this though. Like they go through their Steam games and they're just like, oh, let's just figure out what I was actually doing however many years ago it was. I don't really need Lacerating Aura, because I already have the whip, which is good for, like, small clear, bats, all that. I probably need some more damage. Like, infantry grenade, something spammable, something I can proc stuff with. And this is about to be another reference or something. I have no idea. Yeah, no clear villain in life also means that we don't really have... Turn into chicken firing. Okay, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm not gonna screw around with these new powers. Just play normal. Take, you know, random things. Get recycled, boy. We fight each other because there's no enemy to fight together in life, and I feel like everyone can be like, oh yeah, politics suck, this, that, whatever. I guess it's kind of hard for us. Actually, there's some weapons I would like to try. It's been a minute. Quick bow is funny. I sucked with it. Sadist. That's one stabbing from behind. Tentacle is really funny. Oh, I gotta do an ice crossbow. I don't have this money for it. I used to love ice crossbow. I think that was actually one of the first things I beat the game with, just because it's so, like, easy to spam. I'm surprised that parry worked. I thought my timing was gonna be way off on that. But then, you know, everyone can talk about politics and agree, like, oh, maybe there are greater evils, this, that, but then there's infighting still with, like, among things. If anyone remembers, like, the old US stuff, it's the join or die, right? It's like, hey, we're either going to be a snake and parts of it and die together, or we're going to be like the snake and do good snake things, like the devil and Adam and Eve. And the United States, you know, very religious starting, but then that was our branding. Amazing. Promenade of the Condemned. Yeah, in stories, in like Disney movies, whatever, a villain kind of unites people. You've seen like Big Hero 6, all that stuff. People like those, I think. Also, did I did 25 in a row without taking damage. Almost not quite 30. Oh, I love Grappling Hook. I will take that. Oh, never mind. I can only take one of these. But I'll take Grappling Hook any day of the week. But I guess I can't, because I literally can't remember how to do any of this. It's like what I'm feeling. I imagine that's what it feels like to be an adult nowadays. It's just, oh hey, I have no idea what I'm doing in today's day and age. Technology, the power button, turning stuff on, what? Phrasing, I don't know. Close to deployed skill, tactical retreat. I don't know if any of these technically, like, is Electric Whip considered ranged? I think it's melee. Or why not Crow's Foot? I know I'll at least get value out of that. Without a common goal, every small issue becomes a war. Every small thing, every nitpick, whatever. And it's really easy to do that, too. I'm super, super guilty of doing that, looking at people and small nitpicks here and there. But stuff also adds up, and when you can go to a brother and then they don't fix things, you're like, hey, well, why do we not want to fix things, you know? Or like, is this worth fixing? I mean, is it not? I mean, if we just accept everything for the way it is, then are we really growing, improving, learning to do anything more than it's always been? And that's something that's always pissed me off, and I don't actually have an answer to that. I wish I did. I wish people tried more, but I also know that's not real life. Maybe it never will be. Massive sigh, big sigh. I'll play more Path of Exile later tonight with a friend, the one who didn't flake on me. He showed up even though he wasn't supposed to. Big props to him for that. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I think life, we don't need chaos sometimes, we just need a challenge, and I feel like that's really hard for some people to find too, because we get complacent with just like, oh hey, you know, this is fine. In college, for example, I didn't understand this whole idea of a spiritual breakthrough. Like, oh hey, well, you know, you're close to God, you feel like you're doing things right, but well, it could be a little more right, you know? I mean, stuff like no heart knows. The idea of having a moral compass is kind of misguided because the biblical idea is no one has a moral compass that's even close to right. So, I mean, everyone fell short, I think, or something. I don't know. Saying things everyone else says, I guess. Look at that, 33 enemies killed, no damage taken yet. And see, this is why I think some weapons are funny, because they're just inherently easier to use than others. Like, I didn't like the Hardlight Blade, it just felt complicated to use, but this is just like, oh hey, spam left click from a distance, and it's like a bow that doesn't need to recharge, and wow. Life's easy. Life is Roblox. Corrupted Power is funny, Swarm is really good. That's tough. I was thinking another Corrupted Power. I ended up going for that just because I feel like my nade scaling would be a little bit better and I just want a little bit faster clear. Even though I haven't really been using my abilities that much, I've just been spamming left click. Like an absolute genius who knows what he's doing, and then he forgets to pay attention. Most suffering in life isn't caused by evil, it's caused by inaction or not improving the things that we could be doing. It's just a function of like, well, okay, this is good enough, and it will be good enough, and then we don't think about other people, or the future, or consequences, or anything else in life. For example, I dropped out of college, and I still think that was a good decision, because I'm doing really cool things, I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's true, that's retail, it's not perfect, but like, I mean, I'm doing some crazy things without trying to brag, whatever, and it's gonna end up happening inevitably or something, but I enjoy what I do. It's not perfect, it's not the dream everyone has or wants, but it's something. And I'm lucky to have a job. Guys done just chilling down here. But as far as consequences go, it's like, well, do we think about like, oh hey, you do this, you have to think about these other things, like, oh hey, you know, bills to pay, this, that, having a future career. But something I heard another YouTuber say I think was really interesting was the same promises like our parents got, stuff like the careers they're gonna have, stuff out of college, whatever, maybe don't hold up today, and maybe there's a small chance too that like, in the imperfect world we live in, life's more about money than it is about fulfilling promises, and, well, that dream job that everyone wants, most people aren't ever going to see because they're not going to make the cut for this reason, that reason, whatever. I kind of realized in working with the job that I do have, I actually don't enjoy office jobs, you know? I don't think that would be that great. I like being on my feet, talking with people, whatever. Sure, I can code and stuff. I mean, I came out of high school knowing like 4 programming languages, but does that mean anything? No, not really. Means I know something, but would it have been enough? I have no idea. Where's this tie-in with villains? I'm getting there. Maybe, hopefully. I think in a lot of ways, too, life being full of misdirection and consequences, all this other things, sometimes it's hard to nail down who that villain is. And Bigger Hero 6, the funny one I was pointing out earlier, the Kabuki mask. It's like, well, who is this guy? You know, the man with the mask on. I don't necessarily know who they are. I don't know if that works the same way, or people hide behind this level of anonymity or anything else, but maybe it's something to think about. Narrowing down what actually matters, figuring it out. Especially when people spread rumors and stuff happens, you know? That one kind of hitting really close to home, but also just feels like that never really ends. I mean, you see so much fake news out there nowadays. Fake this, fake that. People just don't really care anymore, and that's tonight's sad reality, but, no villain is really going to go around burning things. I mean, sure, arson, like, is real, I'm not going to dispute that. But what I will say that burns a lot more is simply sitting by and letting life pass us by, when we could be doing a lot more. That was such a midpoint. This is so peak. I don't know if this counts for the swarm. I hope it does stack. Yeah, it's just the worst disasters in life are rarely from what people did, but instead what they didn't do or what we didn't consider. And when no one steps up, everyone kind of pays the price, especially when there is real evil to be considered and no one wants to say anything. For the people that stood by your side, did this, that, and then no one really cares as to the consequences that fall upon them, it's like, well, that sucks. That's really sad, in my opinion at least. I'm gonna stick with Electric Whip for now because it's ranged and curses kind of suck. And I just accidentally hit E. Watch, I'm gonna die to this curse, and then I'm gonna need another thing to talk about while the video is still going on. So I'm not quite done with my story here yet. There we go, jeez. Just focus up there. Oh, there's a rune on the ground. I'm sure I've missed several of these. It's always funny when I catch it, and then the ones I don't catch. Surprised I parried that. I swear I parried that twice, but the game was like, no, you were actually slightly at the wrong time in the wrong range. Another thing on the ground. Yay. It's easier to hate a person than hate a system, hate beliefs, hate whatever. And again, I'm thinking all these things I'm saying, I'm like, man, I'm super guilty of these things as well. But how do we fix it? And is it the way we look at things, the way we think about things, is the way we treat people, maybe all of the above? Maybe not fixing the things we set out to fix earlier and being complacent with life. Hopefully there's a good ending to it, but maybe it's not on my timeline and the scale of things at which I understand it. But I hope there is an answer out there for all that. I don't know, maybe if people watch these, there'll be debate about it in the comments that it's civilized and it's the internet and everyone will be super normal human beings and not take anything too seriously and be chill normal people if the idea is to make the world a better place. It's always funny how, like, you'll see that even on, like, charity streams and stuff, people find ways to argue about stuff, and I'm like, bro, we're trying to make the world a better place, and, like, can we not focus on that for 2 seconds? To me, that's just the craziest part of it, so... I thought I parried that because I've got corrupt power enabled. I think that screws me up with the parrying though, is when I do slow enemies down, like with Crowfoot for example, I forget the parry timing, and I'm like, ah. Or I just do that and just don't parry at all. One thing I think's funny about these bats though is they stack like everything on them. Just start killing stuff and things start stacking. A hero without a villain kind of just wanders, and it's kind of important that we do find that thing to improve or to work on, because otherwise there's just a void left. There's something to fix when we're just kind of sitting there not fixing anything. And then, you know, if our job was to be a builder or carpenter or whatever, we're not fixing anything, building anything, it's like, well, what are we doing, you know? One thing to have a job, it's another thing to be employed by, like, the world that we live in, the universe, the life that we were given. And spam left click, that was also in the Bible. I wonder if people don't improve because there isn't anything to push against or anything for that they see to push against. Or maybe it's hidden from them intentionally too. That's also something I've considered. Especially when people do just blatantly evil things and it's like, oh hey, well it's not that evil, right? It's like, you can be kind of normal about it. I mean, it's like, I love when everyone always, it's like the Hitler analogy always comes up, the World War II analogy, this, that. But it's like, people were deceived in that, sure, but how deceived were they? Like, actually, when you think about that? I mean, I know some, like, all the experiments were incredibly inhumane, all these other things, but the people doing them, it's like, wow. We're kind of lying to ourselves if we don't realize that in a lot of ways. But yet, life moved on, I guess, because it was easier to do that. Spam's first responsibility pyramid. What's new, I suppose. A real villain would wake people up, and maybe it's better to wake up ourselves before one does. I think that's probably the worst thing to consider. As well, the thing I always talk about is the inaction I've seen other people. And I'm like, do we need a villain? Do we need someone that'll, like, wake us up and be like, hey, we can be doing things, but we're not? Brief water sip here. I already talked way too much to people. As a cashier, my throat doesn't like it. Some days. But, villains kind of force growth, and without that, it's just natural evolution. Just stuff just evolves to be the way it is, I guess, and first attack is slow. I'll do that with Crow's Foot, why not? So the world really doesn't need to burn to change, but it ultimately, stuff will, if no one acts. And it's not going to be like a fast burn either. I mean, it might culminate in that. But usually stuff starts as a slow burn. I mean, fires start off as like this small ember. And I've used that same analogy for the sake of like, hey, why don't we like do things, you know, like be passionate, whatever. But I mean, the opposite will be very much the case as well, if we just don't think about what's going on here in the now. Where life will sneak up on you, and then boom, there's a fire in your backyard, and nothing you can really do about it. There's a mix of focusing here, and up, that's... I did not even realize those particles were underneath me. Go down, let me go down. Thank you. Thank you, game. Are these the cursed enemies, I imagine? I don't know how that didn't hit me, or maybe it did and I just don't know what I'm doing. Probably did. More complicated of a dodge roll than it needed to be, getting down the sewers. Tentacle. I was ready to get smacked by it. It does like the vertical slap tech, or the horizontal slap tech. Oh, we gotta do the funny. Thought that was a chest for a second here. Tactics, we got anything funny? I'm not really liking Swarm, I feel like I've gotten very little value out of that. I'll take the Owl if I could afford it. I was also gonna do a bit of a thing for this video too, I was gonna talk about, like, hey, let's talk about, like, movie characters, whatever, villains, and how that kind of shaped people, whatever, realities. I feel like the one people always bring up is Batman, because it's like, whole A Joker and the whole literally me thing, so I always find that funny. But also just... oh, this guy's immune again. The idea of constantly testing morals and realizing that stuff kind of goes unchecked without there being someone there to say, hey, we should maybe look a little bit deeper into this. I mean, he was a villain, not necessarily just for the sake of being a villain, but to prove just how much all this kind of sucked. I don't remember what the 20 quote is. I feel like I should know this, because, like, all the jokes. Also, that's so many enemies. Purple tentacle. Don't know funny villains. Oh yeah, the Thanos analogy, for example, too, where it's like, well, was he really the villain because he's rebalancing the... I mean, yes, he was the villain, but also, like, the thing I always find funny to bring up is, for example, the thought that no one really cared until, like, oh, everyone's gone, and then this whole, like, revenge plot, Marvel, whatever. We're gonna go back to kill Thanos because we hate this guy. I'm gonna die here. Amazing. Review the bell tolls. I heard some enemy and it was like putting me off. But yeah, I feel like we need that in life sometimes. We need that big push. And I think it's funny too. The big thing with YouTubers, haters, they put you down, but also for some people, it's like, man, I'm gonna prove this person wrong. I've seen so many videos where people take that way too far. I'm not saying to do that. What I am saying is, sometimes you can let those weaknesses be strengths in ways that we don't understand. But that's not to say we should let life slide by. You know, sloth is to be despised, but yet everyone kind of lives by that same sort of guideline nowadays, it seems. I mean, in front of a TV, video games, and again, me saying all this, I am no different in any way. You should see how many idle games I play in my free time. Yeah, I think that's been tonight's sad reality. I suck at Dead Cells, and I guess that's the even sadder reality. I love this game, but I have no idea what's going on in it half the time, so... onwards to tomorrow night. Have a good night, y'all.